who I met in college, loves McDonald's sweet tea. And I think part of the reason that she chose to be friends with me was because I had a car. And when we were up late studying, a car makes it a lot easier to go on a McDonald's run. And I truly envied her look of pure satisfaction and joy as she took those first few sips and let the flavor roll over her tongue. Me? I hate McDonald's. I mean, I love McDonald's, but I've found that when I get older and I eat it, it leaves me feeling kind of sick and gross and a little bit of a rumbly tummy. So I simply had to sit and watch her as she looked so happy drinking this tea. And you might think that this would have put a strain on our friendship, but we were friends for a whole host of other reasons. We have the same sense of humor, we believe deeply in caring for the people around us, and we both love books. Besides McDonald's, Snaps loves Disney and photography and board games, and I refuse to play Monopoly with her because she is so brilliantly ruthless. And even though we no longer live in the same state, Snaps and I both made a change in our lives a little over a year ago. We began to work out regularly. Snaps wanted to lose some weight. Her partner was working out a lot and she wanted to lose the freshman, let's call it 15. And I wanted to gain muscle. I had just gotten out of a relationship and I was suddenly faced with lifting my own heavy things. Sexist, maybe, but the truth. It made sense to support each other through the changes that starting a fitness program brings. Time commitments changed, as well as making accommodations for how sore we were on a particular day. Along with those changes that came with working out regularly, Snaps no longer drinks her beloved sweet tea. She says that she doesn't miss it, that it now tastes so sweet that it's gross. But I wonder, making a decision to start a new beginning, no matter what it was, comes with a lot of changes and work. Sometimes these changes are good and easy and fun, like when you're out walking during the most gorgeous sunrise. But sometimes these changes just suck, like when you can't have your favorite food. No matter what, a new beginning involves change, and change is scary. Harvard Business Review talks about some of the reasons why people don't like change. For example, we're creatures of habit, and new things bring a lot of uncertainty. Even a good change, like a promotion, comes with uncertainty and adjusting to new things. When we change our situation or who we are, we necessarily leave behind the person that we were and begin to become someone new. It's a lot like entering a new relationship. Even when everything is going well, you still need to do some adjusting to fit the person you used to be into this new situation. And humans resist that. We become a stranger in our own bodies, forging ahead into a wild unknown. And added to this, we usually change as a result of the realization that something isn't working for us. Often we judge ourselves for our part in what wasn't working. We necessarily look at who we were and see that we want to be something or someone different. And this can so easily lead to shame and judgment of our old selves that is incredibly unhelpful in getting to know this new person that we are becoming. When we judge ourselves before we even know ourselves, it's a block to understanding. And actually, it encourages us to remain in the old and useless patterns. So, there is a realness to the fears and concerns that come with a new beginning. Change can and does hurt. Sometimes literally, like when we're sore. All too often, when we change something about ourselves, we find the change to be uncomfortable. Situations where we used to react in a standard way are now perplexing because we don't know how our changed self reacts. The unknown looms large, producing anxiety and requiring even more work. For example, how do you fit your morning routine and a walk and getting enough sleep into one morning? Often people ask, am I really up for this? Can I really do this? Will I be up for doing the work involved? Now, side note real quick. For this sermon, I'm focusing on exercise and fitness as my example of change, New Year's resolutions, and new beginnings, because the most common New Year's resolution has something to do with fitness. However, the basic ideas are applicable to any change that you're undertaking. Whether you're changing a job, changing a relationship, or changing how clean your house is, the change is scary, and it might hurt. It's not your imagination. It is normal for change to be anxiety-producing. You will be a stranger in your own body when you change something, whether or not what you are changing is your body. So, as you may have noticed, this is a time of year when a lot of people are choosing to make changes. About 41% of Americans make a New Year's resolution, but most New Year's resolutions don't ever make it to fruition. Only 9% of the people who make a resolution end up following through on it. I personally have never been very big on New Year's resolutions. The problem I see is exactly what was mentioned before. Changing who we are leaves us faced with this person we don't know. And that change is usually only worth it when we're doing it out of love. And New Year's resolutions are almost always based on shame. People want to lose weight. It's the most common one. We want to lose those 5, 10, 20 pounds. Our society says some things about weight and losing it, and the things that society says are completely and utterly rooted in shame. There is so much stigma about body size. Society's ideal body image is almost always based on a young, thin, white woman. It is both racist and fatphobic. So of course people can't keep resolutions. Shame keeps us from looking at who we are, which prevents us from moving forward honestly. And the shame about weight is everywhere. Most of the time, we are sent a mixed message that anyone who is fat needs to lose weight, but also shouldn't be inflicting the sight of their body on everybody else. Come on. Doctors tend to ignore pain and medical problems in people that they deem fat. They diagnose them as their body type. As Jessica Hinkle, the owner of Proud Mary, a plus-size fashion website, says, I've gotten a lot of messages where people tell me I'm disgusting and/or I should kill myself. People feel like you should hide when you're my size, that you should be ashamed for existing, and therefore you aren't allowed to be stylish and happy. End quote. Society tells people that they shouldn't exist and that they need to change who they are. Of course, that makes it really hard to set and maintain goals that feel good. Snaps and I were talking online about a month ago. She and I work out for different reasons, and so our workouts are different, but what we do is similar enough that we often commiserate. And one day, she sent me a picture with text on it, a meme, and it said, I want a treadmill-powered TV account. It only plays shows when you walk or run. You want to watch your show? Better get moving. Now, me, being the avid Black Mirror fan that I am, I read it. Yeah, I can see who watches Black Mirror. I read it and I almost typed back, yes, please, I would lose so much weight. I would lose so much weight? Losing weight and being healthy are so blended together in our society that they are seen as being one and the same. They are so put together that when I think about me personally being healthier, I automatically think about weight loss, even though that is not even close to what I need to be healthy. Even though that is rarely, that is almost never what we need to be healthy. I say all this knowing that I am unusual. My genetics, just like everyone else's, predispose me to a certain body type, just like everyone's genetics predispose them to a certain body type. And as far as society goes, I won the genetic lottery when it comes to metabolism. That being said, I also do not intend to diminish what is called the obesity epidemic, or make light of the amount of diet and exercise-related health problems we have as a country. But if there's one thing I know, it's that focusing on the number the scale gives you is utterly unhelpful. Change comes about in small, attainable steps, not through changing everything at once to get to a certain number as quickly as possible. So for example, I am a really messy person. I have never successfully kept my room clean longer than for a few days. But I did a funny random thing a few years back. I read somewhere that people who made their beds regularly were happier. So I started making my bed every morning. And it felt funny at first. I had to remind myself to do it. And there were some days that I forgot and had to remind myself again the next day. And I didn't make it the way that you're supposed to, where you tuck in the top sheet and make the pillows look all pretty. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. Instead, I just made sure that the sheet and the blanket were somewhat flat across the top. And I didn't tuck anything in, because I knew I was just gonna untuck it again that night. And I didn't even touch my pillow. So it was a small thing, but there was something nicer about crawling into that bed at night. It felt like a gift that my morning self gave to my nighttime self. Working out is the same way. Eating healthily is the same way. When I demand that I constantly eat well, I fail every time. And then I feel ashamed and give up on all of it. A few years ago, I cut all sugar out of my diet, and that lasted for about a month. It just wasn't attainable for me because it was too much to do all at once, even though it seemed small in comparison to the overall diet that I wanted to have. Instead, I now just strive to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day, no matter what else I eat. I carry a piece of fruit in case I want a snack. It's a smaller and easier goal, and it's not really anything to brag about. But I can do it. Usually, anyway. And for me, working out is similar. My workout always starts with a run, and I've worked my way up from running less than a mile to running a mile to now running 2 miles. And some days, I can lace up and run singing. It's so easy. And other days, it's a struggle just to get dressed. And the idea of running is like physically painful. And I try not to beat myself up on the days that I struggle. On those days, I just ask myself to run a little bit. Usually, after I do a half mile, I want to do another half, and another. And then maybe I feel okay enough to do 1 set of calisthenics, which becomes 2. I tell myself that half a workout is better than no workout. A slow run is better than no run. A run where I jog and then walk and then jog and then walk is better than no run. Strive to be gentle with myself. There are days where we're naturally motivated, and those days are great. But we can still praise ourselves for doing something on the days that are tough. And if you want to know a secret, my biggest triumphs, the days that I make my biggest jumps in progress, are almost always the days that I don't want to work out. I'm not sure why, but for me, that's how it works. I feel good when I do something. So it's important that I not give up and I help my body feel good. Bodies are complicated and unique. Every person has their own challenges to face, their own demons. We each have our own shame. And for most of us, looking closely at our weight is unhelpful. Actually, for most of us, looking at our weight is actually deeply harmful because it results in that shame that blocks change. Obviously, losing weight generally doesn't work and is unhelpful for most people. And even if you are someone who thinks they need to lose weight, is the point of living to be a certain number? I hope not. I would guess that there are many different reasons we are alive, and being a certain number is probably none of them. I hope being happy is one of them. I hope feeling good about yourself is one of them. I hope setting goals and then reaching those goals is one of them. I hope that you find change to be a useful and valuable part of being alive. Because you know what fits all of those living goals? Making attainable changes that are tied to love. Because love tells the story of one more jumping jack than you could do last week, of adding a small weight to your morning calisthenics. Love tells the story of a mile more than you could walk 6 months ago. Love tells the story of laughing so hard that you can't do another sit-up because you farted and it was just so funny. Love tells the story of taking the stairs. Love tells the story of enough meals each day with plenty of nutrients. Love tells the story of enjoying that cookie or ice cream. Love tells the story of walking sometimes and taking the escalator sometimes. Love tells the story of putting on your shoes. Love tells the story of dancing in your living room. Love is about getting fit no matter what getting fit means to you personally. So when my mom read this sermon, she asked, that's great, but where's the spirituality, Robin? So besides the, to me, obvious spiritual implications of rooting ourselves in self-love, I think one of the greatest disservices that our society does is to separate our physical and spiritual selves. Think about the activity for all ages. How did you feel before, and how did you feel after? Our bodies are part of who we are, and they matter. Our bodies matter to our spirituality. Our bodies and our emotions and our thoughts are all connected, and when we change one of them, we change all of them. So this year, if you choose to make a new goal, I urge you to set one rooted in loving yourself. I mean, whatever works for you, but since this is a church and I'm giving a sermon, I'm going to advocate for starting in self-love rather than self-hate. Love who you are now, and love who you can become. Not the number, but the goal. Instead of focusing on the numbers or on how far or how fast you can move, focus on just moving for a certain amount of time. Put on your jam and just go for 2 songs. Just 2 songs. Instead of setting a goal of being able to do a certain number of exercises, just do them until you can't for that moment. And then take a break. Rest. And go again until you can't for that moment. Don't focus on what you're going to do at the gym. Focus on making it to the gym or the hiking trail or the sidewalk. You might not be able to go for a mile today, but you can do something. And that's awesome. Snaps. had to give up McDonald's to get to where she is now, but she didn't give it up overnight. She went a little bit less each week. Snaps didn't start out running miles at a time, but she was recently able to run for a mile straight, a goal she's held for a long time. Your goal should probably be different. It should be your own. Whether your resolution is about getting fit or about something else, ask yourself, what am I comfortable with? What seems really easy? And then do that. Do the really easy thing. And if you need a break, that's okay. You can start again tomorrow. Falling down or making a mistake is not the end. It's a chance to start again. And I know that you can do this. That you can do the thing. And you're going to be great. Thank you. I love you. Amen. So please rise as you are willing and able, and join me in hymn number 348, Guide My Feet.
Is this one that we know?
So.
It's a new one. So it's got traditional spiritual form. That means there's like a call and a response. And I'll play through it once.
certainly not all, congregations that welcome guest preachers, and especially seminarians that are guest preachers. And not only do you guys invite me here, not only do you let me come here and try out new sermons and new activities for all ages and new things that may or may not go over well, not only do you let me come experiment with you, but you actually pay me to be here. And I just think that's really great. And so if you think that's really great and really exciting that you offer seminarians who are still learning these kinds of opportunities, then I encourage you to give as generously as you are able during this offering. And today's offering will be shared with the Cortland Emergency Food Bank And there's more information about that in your order of service on the yellow insert. Today's offering will now be given and gratefully received. Please join me in the dedication of the offering, which is found in your order of service. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of light. Thank you for your generosity. I also, as we start to close out the service, need to give some thank yous to Joe Seal and Ann and Reverend Thixton for inviting me here and working with me to craft this service. It is crazy to try to craft a service over the holiday season, and I think we did pretty good. So thank you guys so much for helping me out with that and for being a part of this. It does not happen without you. As you go forth from this place, leave behind what you want to leave in 2017 and carry with you your new goals and commitments. Change is hard, and that's okay. You are strong enough. You can do this, and you can carry this message in all that you do. Go in peace, go in love, go in movement. Amen.
And the postlude is number 239, if you care to sing along to a little Go Tell It on the Mountain. You can rise in body and spirit. Thank you.